A federal judge now ordering the Trump administration to pay out all SNAP benefits, what used to be called food stamps. They're saying you got to pay out all those benefits for the month of November by tomorrow. Not just the partial distribution the Trump administration already said they would do, with a lot of people right now still in the dark on when they're actually going to get those benefits. What does it mean for the 42 million people who rely on the country's biggest food assistance program? Honestly, TBD at this point, at least on some of the details. The White House is directing our team to the Office of Management and Budget. We haven't heard back from them yet for a comment. We're going to be watching that over the course of the next hour.
Hillary Clinton's back in the good books, is what President Trump has said. But unfortunately for Barack Obama, he's now on the receiving end. I guess Joe Biden is off the table in terms of having a go at him. But treason is a strong word to use, a very strong word to use. Michael, if there is truth to these claims, is Obama correct in thinking that this is a distraction technique if there's not truth? But what if there is truth?
So the key word is treason. And I think that that is one of Donald Trump's verbal tells. Not fewer than 12 people has he accused over the years of treason. When he wants to deflect and he wants to go on the attack and he wants to control the narrative, it's one of the words that comes up quite often with him, where he will make sure that people recognize, because treason is a capital offense in the States, people can be put to death. And so when a sitting president uses that against a former president, that is going to 100% take over the news cycle for at least a day or two. The issue that he faces are the Epstein files. And while there is going to be a summer recess now, he's going to have to keep people distracted for 6 weeks, so that by the time politicians in the States come back into session, they will hopefully, in Donald Trump's opinion, no longer be focused on the...
Okay, so picture this. You're a Navy official. You have access to some of the most classified documents in America. Nuclear secrets, attack plans, defense strategies, information that, if exposed, could compromise national security and endanger American lives. And you discover something horrifying. Those documents, or copies of them, were taken by Donald Trump, stored at Mar-a-Lago in unsecured locations where visitors could see them, where foreign agents could potentially access them, and Trump refused to return them. For months, the government asked, demanded, subpoenaed, and Trump kept them anyway, showed them to people who didn't have security clearance, bragged about having them, and instructed his aides to hide them from investigators. This isn't just negligence. This isn't just poor judgment. This is deliberate, willful, potentially treasonous, because Trump knew these documents were classified, knew he wasn't supposed to have them, knew that keeping them endangered national security, and he did it anyway. And now leaked documents from the Navy are surfacing. Details about what Trump took, what he showed, what he exposed, and it's worse than anyone imagined. Nuclear secrets, information about America's nuclear capabilities and vulnerabilities, attack plans against potential adversaries, detailed military strategies, intelligence about U.S. allies, sensitive information that, if exposed to foreign powers, could damage international relationships and compromise cooperative defense efforts. All of it stored carelessly at Mar-a-Lago, all of it at risk of exposure, all of it kept by Trump despite knowing the danger. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust headlines anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
Not have these cuts. This is very important. Travel's important.
TSA's not getting paid. The air traffic controllers are not getting paid. Think about the safety of passengers and the safety of staff.
These guys need to wrap it up and come to some conclusion, both in the Senate and the House.
This is wild. This is absolutely catastrophic, because we're not talking about routine classified material. We're talking about the most sensitive national defense secrets America has. Information that enemies would kill to get, information that could be used to attack the United States or its allies. And Trump treated it like personal property, like souvenirs, like trophies he could show off to visitors. Legal experts are calling this willful treason. Historians are comparing it to the worst presidential scandals in American history. And the leaked Navy documents are providing details that make prosecution more likely, that show the full extent of Trump's betrayal, that prove he knowingly endangered national security for his own ego. So let's talk about it. Let's break down what documents Trump took, how he stored them, why he kept them, what the leaked Navy information reveals, and why this could finally result in serious criminal prosecution for treason. Because trust me, this is enormous. This is Trump potentially facing charges that could send him to prison for the rest of his life. This is national security compromised at the highest levels. This is a betrayal of the Constitution and of every American. Now, the basic facts have been known for a while. When Trump left office in January 2021, he took classified documents with him to Mar-a-Lago, boxes of them. The National Archives realized documents were missing. They asked Trump to return them. Trump returned some, but not all. The archives realized more were missing. They kept asking. Trump kept refusing. Eventually, the FBI obtained a warrant and searched Mar-a-Lago. In August 2022, they recovered hundreds of classified documents, including some of the most sensitive materials in the U.S. government, nuclear secrets, military attack plans, intelligence information, all stored in unsecure locations, in Trump's office, in a bathroom, in a storage room, places where club members, staff, and visitors could potentially access them. If federal indictments confirmed all of this, the documents were real, they were highly classified, Trump knew he had them, and he deliberately refused to return them. But now leaked Navy documents are providing additional details, information about specific documents Trump took, about how they were stored, about who saw them, about Trump showing classified Pentagon maps to visitors, bragging about secret military plans, using classified information to make himself look important. And these leaked details are devastating because they show this wasn't just carelessness. Trump was actively using classified information, showing it to people, treating national defense secrets as personal property. And the leaked information confirms what legal experts have been saying. This is willful. Trump knew what he was doing, knew it was wrong, knew it endangered national security, and did it anyway. That's the definition of willful misconduct. That's what makes this potentially treasonous. Because Trump didn't just accidentally mishandle classified information. He deliberately kept it, deliberately showed it to unauthorized people, deliberately obstructed efforts to recover it, all while knowing the national security implications. Now, legal experts and historians are weighing in, and they're using strong language. Some are calling this willful treason. They're saying Trump's actions constitute a betrayal of his oath of office, a betrayal of the Constitution, a betrayal of America. Because presidents are entrusted with the nation's most sensitive secrets, they're given access to classified information so they can protect the country. And Trump abused that trust. He took classified information and used it for personal gratification, for ego, for showing off. And in doing so, he compromised national security. Security analysts warned that Trump's actions send a message to the world that you can't trust the United States with sensitive information, because if an American president will mishandle it this carelessly, then sharing intelligence with America is dangerous, and that damages international relationships, makes allies less willing to share information, makes intelligence cooperation more difficult, all because Trump couldn't be trusted with national defense secrets. Congressional testimony has confirmed that Trump's mishandling of classified documents compromised national security, that military operations could have been endangered, that information about U.S. capabilities and vulnerabilities was exposed, that enemies could have gained access to American secrets, and military officials are calling it a betrayal of the Constitution. They're describing the horror of realizing that a president, the commander-in-chief, treated their work, their secrets, their lives with such contempt that Trump saw classified military plans as toys to show off rather than as the serious national defense tools they are. So yeah, this is the story. Trump's dark past surfacing after Navy leaked classified documents about his treasonous mishandling of national defense secrets. Documents showing Trump stored nuclear secrets and attack plans unsecurely, showed them to unauthorized people, refused to return them, and endangered national security willfully, and now leaked Navy information, providing additional damning details that could support criminal prosecution for treason. Let's break it down. Alright, so let's dig into what specific documents Trump took, how he mishandled them, and why this constitutes one of the most serious national security breaches in presidential history. Because the details matter, the specifics of what Trump did show this wasn't just poor judgment, this was deliberate, willful endangerment of national security. Let's start with what documents Trump took. According to federal indictments and leaked sources, Trump took hundreds of classified documents when he left office, and not just any classified documents, some of the most sensitive materials in the U.S. government, nuclear secrets, information about America's nuclear capabilities, how many warheads we have, where they're located, what their capabilities are, information about nuclear vulnerabilities, gaps in America's nuclear defense, potential weaknesses enemies could exploit. This is information that could be used to attack the United States, that enemies would desperately want. That could compromise America's nuclear deterrent, military attack plans. Detailed strategies for potential military operations against adversaries. Plans for how America would respond to various threats. Information about troop movements, weapon systems, tactical approaches, all classified at the highest levels because revealing them would give enemies knowledge about how to counter American military action, intelligence about U.S. allies, sensitive information shared by allied countries. Intelligence cooperation requires trust. Countries share information with America because they believe it will be protected. And Trump took documents containing that sensitive allied intelligence, putting it at risk of exposure, potentially damaging relationships with allied nations. Pentagon maps and defense information, classified maps showing U.S. military positions, bases, capabilities, strategic defense information that, if exposed to enemies, could be used to plan attacks or counter American defense efforts. And Trump didn't just take these documents, he stored them carelessly. According to the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago, classified documents were found in multiple unsecured locations. In Trump's office at Mar-a-Lago, not in a secure facility, not in a safe, just in his office where staff, visitors, and club members could potentially access them. In a bathroom, boxes of classified documents stored in a bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. Think about that. Some of America's most sensitive national defense secrets stored in a bathroom, in a storage room, more boxes stacked in a storage room. Again, not secured, not locked, just sitting there where anyone with access to that part of Mar-a-Lago could potentially see them. And Mar-a-Lago is a private club. Foreign nationals are members. Foreign agents could potentially gain access. The club hosts events where hundreds of people are present. It's not a secure facility. It's not designed to protect classified information. And Trump stored national defense secrets there anyway. Now it gets worse. Because Trump didn't just store these documents carelessly, he showed them to people. According to witness testimony and audio recordings, Trump showed classified documents to visitors who didn't have security clearance. He showed Pentagon maps to people, pointed out details, bragged about having access to classified information. He discussed military attack plans, described classified strategies, used national defense secrets to make himself look important and knowledgeable. And Trump knew this was wrong. According to audio recordings, Trump acknowledged that the documents were classified. He said things like, "This is secret information, and I probably shouldn't be showing you this." That proves Trump knew the documents were classified, knew he wasn't supposed to share them, and did it anyway. That's willful misconduct. That's knowing violation of laws protecting classified information. Now let's talk about Trump's refusal to return the documents. The National Archives realized documents were missing. They contacted Trump's team in 2021, asked for documents to be returned. Trump's team returned some documents in January 2022, but Archives officials realized more were still missing. It kept communicating with Trump's team, kept asking for all classified materials to be returned. In May 2022, a grand jury issued a subpoena demanding all classified documents. Trump's lawyers claimed they conducted a thorough search and found all remaining classified materials. They certified that all classified documents had been returned, but that was false. Trump had instructed staff to hide documents, to move boxes to prevent investigators from finding them, to lie about what remained at Mar-a-Lago. And in August 2022, the FBI executed a search warrant, and they found hundreds more classified documents. Documents Trump had kept despite the subpoena, despite his lawyer's certification that everything had been returned. Trump had deliberately kept classified documents, deliberately lied about having them, deliberately obstructed the investigation, and that obstruction is itself a serious federal crime. Even if Trump had been authorized to take the documents initially, which he wasn't, the refusal to return them and the obstruction of the investigation constitute separate crimes. Now, let's talk about the leaked Navy documents and what they reveal. According to recent reports, Navy sources have leaked additional information about Trump's mishandling of classified documents, and these leaks provide specifics that weren't previously public. Details about which nuclear secrets Trump took, information about what specific capabilities and vulnerabilities were documented in the classified materials Trump kept. This helps prosecutors prove the severity of the breach, shows exactly what national security information was put at risk. Information about Trump showing documents to specific individuals, names of people without security clearance who were shown classified materials, testimony from witnesses who saw Trump displaying classified documents. All of this strengthens the case that Trump deliberately shared classified information with unauthorized people. Details about how documents were stored, specific locations within Mar-a-Lago, photographs showing classified documents stacked in unsecured rooms, evidence proving how carelessly Trump treated national defense secrets, communication records showing Trump instructed aides to hide documents, text messages, emails, or other communications where Trump or his representatives discussed concealing classified materials from investigators. This proves obstruction, shows Trump's intent to prevent the government from recovering classified documents, and this leaked information is devastating for Trump because it provides additional evidence beyond what was already in federal indictments. It gives prosecutors more ammunition, more proof of Trump's willful misconduct, more documentation of the national security damage Trump caused. Now let's talk about why this is being called treason. Treason is defined in the Constitution. It requires either waging war against the United States or giving aid and comfort to enemies. Trump's actions don't technically meet the constitutional definition of treason. He wasn't waging war, and there's no evidence he intentionally gave classified information to enemy nations. But legal experts are using treason more broadly to describe a betrayal of the nation, a violation of the trust placed in the president. And in that broader sense, Trump's actions were treasonous. He betrayed his oath to protect and defend the Constitution. He endangered national security for personal ego. He compromised America's defense capabilities. He damaged relationships with allies. And he sent a message to the world that America can't be trusted with sensitive information. That's a betrayal of the nation. It's treasonous in spirit, if not in strict constitutional terms. And Trump could still face serious criminal charges. Not treason as defined in the Constitution, but violations of the Espionage Act, unauthorized retention of classified information, obstruction of justice, conspiracy to obstruct, false statements, all serious federal crimes, all carrying significant prison time. And the leaked Navy documents strengthen the case for those charges, provide additional evidence of Trump's crimes, make prosecution more likely and conviction more certain. Now let's talk about the impact on national security. Because Trump's mishandling of classified documents had real consequences. It compromised military operations. Enemies could have gained knowledge about American military capabilities and strategies. That makes defending America harder, makes military operations more dangerous. It damaged intelligence sharing with allies. Allied nations are less willing to share sensitive information with America if they can't trust it will be protected. And Trump showed that America, under his leadership, couldn't be trusted. It exposed nuclear vulnerabilities. Information about American nuclear defense capabilities and gaps could be used by adversaries to plan attacks or develop countermeasures. That makes America less safe. It endangered military personnel. Classified information about troop locations, operations, and strategies, if exposed, could put American service members at risk, could allow enemies to anticipate and counter American actions, and military officials who dedicated their lives to protecting America are horrified. They see Trump's carelessness as a personal betrayal, as contempt for their work and their lives, and they're calling for accountability, for Trump to face serious consequences for endangering national security. Now let's talk about why Trump kept these documents. Why did he take them? Why refuse to return them? The most likely explanation is ego. Trump saw classified documents as trophies, as proof of his importance, as things he could show off to impress people, and that's consistent with Trump's behavior throughout his life, using possessions and status symbols to validate his ego, to make himself feel important. But there are darker possibilities. Some have speculated Trump kept documents for leverage, to use as bargaining chips, or for personal financial gain, to potentially sell or trade classified information. There's no definitive proof of this, but given Trump's history of using his position for personal benefit, it can't be ruled out. And investigators are looking into whether Trump shared classified information with anyone who shouldn't have had access, whether any classified materials left Mar-a-Lago, whether Trump used classified information for any purpose beyond ego gratification. Those investigations are ongoing, and they could reveal even more serious misconduct. So yeah, this is where we are. Trump took hundreds of highly classified documents, nuclear secrets, military attack plans, intelligence information, stored them carelessly at an unsecured private club, showed them to unauthorized people, refused to return them despite government demands, obstructed the investigation to recover them, and endangered national security willfully. And now, leaked Navy documents are providing additional damning details that strengthen the case for criminal prosecution. Let's talk about what happens next. Okay, so let's break down what Trump's mishandling of classified documents means for his legal future, for national security, and for presidential accountability. Because this isn't just about Trump facing charges, this is about whether America can hold presidents accountable when they betray national security. First, let's talk about Trump's legal jeopardy. Trump has been indicted on federal charges related to mishandling classified documents. Those charges include willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding documents, corruptly concealing documents, and false statements. And the evidence is strong. FBI agents recovered the classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. Witnesses have testified about Trump's instructions to hide documents. Audio recordings prove Trump knew documents were classified and showed them to unauthorized people. And now leaked Navy documents provide additional evidence. More details about what Trump took, more proof of how he mishandled it, more documentation of national security damage. So Trump is facing serious prison time if convicted. Each count carries potential years in federal prison. And if Trump is convicted on multiple counts, sentences could run consecutively, meaning Trump could spend the rest of his life in prison. That's not hyperbole. That's the realistic consequence of being convicted of willfully mishandling national defense secrets and obstructing justice. Now, Trump's defense has been weak. He's claimed he declassified documents before taking them, but there's no evidence of that. No paperwork, no witnesses, no process followed. It's just Trump's word, and courts are unlikely to accept that. He's claimed he was authorized to take the documents, but presidential authority to access classified information doesn't extend to taking documents when you leave office. Former presidents don't have unlimited access to current classified materials. He's claimed the Presidential Records Act allowed him to keep documents, but that act specifically excludes classified national security information. It doesn't give presidents the right to keep classified documents, so Trump's defenses don't work. They're contradicted by law, by evidence, by basic logic, and prosecutors will dismantle them at trial. Second, let's talk about presidential immunity. Trump has argued he can't be prosecuted because of presidential immunity, but courts have rejected that. The Supreme Court ruled that presidents have immunity for official acts while in office, but taking classified documents when you leave office isn't an official act. It's personal conduct, so immunity doesn't apply. And even if some of Trump's conduct while president is protected, the obstruction that occurred after he left office definitely isn't protected, so immunity won't save Trump from these charges. Third, let's talk about what this means for national security. Trump's actions have had lasting consequences. Allies are less trusting. Countries that share intelligence with America are more cautious. They're worried that sensitive information won't be protected, and that makes intelligence cooperation harder. America's defense is weaker. Information about capabilities and vulnerabilities was exposed. Even if enemies didn't gain direct access to the documents, the fact that they were mishandled creates uncertainty. American military officials have to assume worst-case scenarios, have to plan as if enemies might have seen the classified materials. Precedent for mishandling is set. If Trump can get away with taking classified documents and storing them carelessly, what message does that send? Future presidents or officials might think they can do the same, that classified information rules are optional. That's dangerous. So holding Trump accountable matters for national security. It sends a message that mishandling classified information has consequences, that national defense secrets must be protected, that no one, not even presidents, is above these laws. Fourth, let's talk about political consequences. Trump's mishandling of classified documents is damaging him politically. Some voters don't care. Trump's hardcore base believes whatever Trump says. If he claims it's all political persecution, they believe it. But for everyone else, for voters who care about national security, this is disqualifying. The evidence is too strong. Trump's actions too clearly endangered America. So Trump's support outside his base is eroding. Military and veteran communities are particularly troubled. People who serve, who know how serious classified information is, are appalled by Trump's carelessness, and they're less likely to support him. Even some Republicans are uncomfortable because national security has traditionally been a Republican issue. Republicans have positioned themselves as the party of strong defense, and Trump's mishandling of classified secrets undermines that positioning, makes it harder for Republicans to claim they're the party that keeps America safe. Fifth, let's talk about congressional response. Congress has been investigating Trump's handling of classified documents, and the leaked Navy information will fuel more investigation. Congressional committees will demand more information, will hold more hearings, will call witnesses to testify about what Trump did and what damage was caused. And some members of Congress are calling for reforms, changes to how classified information is handled, stronger oversight of presidents and senior officials, new rules about what happens to classified materials when administrations change. These reforms are necessary because Trump exploited gaps in the system. He took advantage of unclear rules and weak enforcement, and reforms can close those gaps, make it harder for future presidents to mishandle classified information. Sixth, let's talk about what accountability looks like. Because if Trump is prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced for mishandling classified documents, that's accountability working. That's the legal system enforcing laws that protect national security. And that's what should happen. Trump committed serious crimes. He willfully retained classified information. He showed it to unauthorized people. He obstructed efforts to recover it, and he endangered national security. Those are crimes, and Trump should face consequences, just like anyone else who commits those crimes. That's rule of law. That's equal justice. That's accountability. So what's the bottom line? Trump's dark past has surfaced after leaked Navy documents revealed the full extent of his treasonous mishandling of classified national defense secrets. Trump took hundreds of highly classified documents when he left office. Nuclear secrets, military attack plans, intelligence information. He stored them carelessly at Mar-a-Lago in unsecured locations. He showed them to unauthorized people. He bragged about having them. He refused to return them despite government demands. He instructed aides to hide them from investigators, and he lied about what he had, all of it willful, all of it knowing, all of it endangering national security. And leaked Navy documents are providing additional damning details, specifics about what documents Trump took, how he stored them, who he showed them to, how he obstructed the investigation, all of it strengthening the case for criminal prosecution. Legal experts call this willful treason, a betrayal of the Constitution, a betrayal of America, and Trump faces federal charges that could send him to prison for life. The evidence is overwhelming. Trump's defenses are weak, and conviction is likely once the case goes to trial. This is about more than Trump. This is about whether America can hold presidents accountable when they betray national security, whether classified information laws mean anything, whether national defense secrets are protected or treated as presidential souvenirs. The leaked Navy documents ensure this scandal won't go away. They provide the details needed to prosecute, the evidence to convict, the documentation to prove Trump's guilt. Stay tuned, because Trump's legal reckoning is coming. The evidence is there, the charges are filed, and justice for betraying national security is inevitable.